As much as I truly love talking about how great phone flipping is, because it's my full-time job, it's great for the brand, it's great for the channel, and to be honest, it helps me sell courses, I have to be totally honest with you guys. There's obviously, not everything about phone flipping is great. There's obviously a negative side to it. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. I want to make this to be as transparent as possible with you guys, because I don't think any other YouTuber, especially within the phone flipping space or even in the flipping space in general, has ever really released a video like this that talks about the negative side because they fear it's going to hurt their brand. But to be honest, I owe it to you guys because I've put out pretty much every single video up until now, things that are really great about phone flipping, but I owe it to you guys to talk to you guys about what it's like to be flipping phones full-time, but it doesn't even necessarily apply just to full-time phone flippers, but just talking about some of the negative things you have to think about if you're trying to get into the industry, and especially if you're trying to get into it where you can, one, either quit your job, because so many people are coming to me with the goal that they come into phone flipping being like, hey, I want to quit my job, I'm going to come back to you in a couple months and I'll prove it to you that I could do this. Well, great. You can probably make a ton of money, but a lot of people don't realize what it's like to be in the space of doing this at a higher scale. Not that I'm super profitable, like hundreds of thousands of dollars or anything like that. Nothing really crazy, but I've learned a lot and I want to share that with you guys. So enough of me talking. Stick around for the whole video, because especially the last point that I have for you guys is going to make you really question whether you should get into phone flipping or not. So if you do enjoy today's video, the least I can ask is I appreciate a thumbs up on today's video. And if you're not part of the family yet, hit that subscription button down below. I love releasing videos to you guys about the phone flipping industry. So let's get right into it. So the first kind of negative thing I have to say about phone flipping is it is really hard to be consistent in the industry. As much as people are always asking me how many ads are up at a time, how many phones are you buying a day, it's hard for me to give a number, and I don't think anybody, unless they have a cell phone shop, even people that have cell phone shops, it's hard to be consistent. Obviously, somebody in a shop will have a lot more volume going on because they have that credibility, but it's really hard to be consistent when you're just putting out ads yourself. You don't have like a brand or like a retail location or anything like that. Some days, I'm totally honest, I will not buy a phone, and it's just a matter of fact, part of the industry. Obviously, I've created other income sources where it's really rare for me to go a day without making some sort of income, and I think that's super important if anybody's in this kind of industry, to have multiple income streams, maybe not within the phone flipping industry, but also tapping into things like outside of it. But to be consistent in this industry, it's hard because you can't control what the market has, right? So obviously you could put out hundreds of ads a day, but one, that's very time consuming, and two, it's not realistic. Nobody's gonna go do that. There's a lot of people who tell you that they buy phones every single day, and they might, but they're probably putting in 5-6 hours of ads just to be able to do that, and it's hard. It's depending on the market too, because if you're in a smaller town, I'm not going to sit here and say that you're going to buy a phone every day, because you're probably not. It happens. There's just not a big enough market for you to go and find a good deal every single day. Like when I was in Tucson, Arizona, the only way I would buy a phone is, in a sense, if I would get lucky. It's a pretty small town, but offer up pretty much nothing. Facebook Marketplace, pretty much nothing. I had to literally go out, find references and everything like that for me to even go ahead and buy a phone every day. So I'm not saying it's really easy. It is really hard to be consistent, and that's pretty much the first negative that I have for you guys. The second one is probably something a lot of you don't want to hear, but if you're in the industry already, you probably already know this. But if you haven't, or let me recorrect that, if you're not in the industry yet, there's literally nothing passive about it. A lot of people will try to tell you that it's one of those things where it's super easy. Yeah, it's a simple concept, but that doesn't mean it's passive at all. Yeah, even if you're buying phones off eBay or Mercari, you're still putting in the work. I guarantee that people that go ahead and buy those are scrolling through multiple hours, or even just 2-3 hours a day looking for that one deal that they could buy on, because it's a super competitive market. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of people hitting those phones within a couple of seconds, just because of how scalable those platforms have become. So even if you're not doing that, you have to go out and pick up locally. That's literally your only two options, unless you've tapped in the space of you have buyers under you, or sellers under you, correct me, but you have sellers under you and you're literally just getting phones shipped to you. But then you have to worry about the middleman shipping them out. Like, there's literally nothing passive about the industry. This is all about grit and grind. And that's something that I've struggled with a lot. Sometimes I've thought about getting out of it simply because of like, how would I better spend my time? Would I could potentially make the same money or even more money doing other things? And obviously I'm continuously working on that. Phone flipping is not my everything. It's not going to be something I'm going to do for forever, but obviously I'm in it for the next couple of years as well, because I've learned how to scale it to a good amount of like money, to be honest. And so just be totally honest with you guys. It's not something where you could just go out, work 20 minutes and you're done. You have to kind of starting from the beginning, you have to look for the phones, you have to put out ads, you have to negotiate, you have to buy, and buying includes going out and either waiting for them to ship to you, or going out driving 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes. Sometimes you get lucky and they come to you, but then you have to go outside, negotiate again, make sure it's legit. You have to get a bill of sale. There's tons of things you have to do, and then on the back end you have to ship, send invoices. Like, there's literally nothing where somebody's just gonna come sell you a phone and you don't have to touch anything. It doesn't exist. So I just want you guys to know that when you're getting into the industry. So the third point that I have for you, and I know a lot of you haven't ever thought about this, but it's really hard to scale this industry without, one, opening up a shop, or two, having really good contacts. And both of those options take a long time. You're not going to get in this for 6 months and then just open up a shop. You don't know the knowledge. You need to know, in my opinion, you need to know how to do buying and selling and repairing really well to be able to open up a shop, just from me looking into that recently. So that's a really big negative. Like, it's not very scalable fast, and that's really the only way you can scale it, along with the other option that I had talked about, where you need to know context. And that, to be honest, takes even much longer, because one, you have to be reputable in the industry to get those certain contacts. And when I say contacts, a lot of that just means having international buyers, where, you know, a lot of you will sell to quote unquote private buyers. Most of them are located within the US, right? For you to find an international contact, you're gonna get much higher prices, because that's just how the market works. But a lot of the times people, they pay thousands and thousands of dollars, like unbelievable amounts of dollars, just to be able to get those contacts. But it's smart, because they realize their profit margins are increased greatly, and as long as they're in the industry, where to a point where they're in it long enough where it pays off, it's a great move. So I'm not doubting anybody that gets to that point. Like, it's super smart. It's just one of the two options you have to choose from if you want to take it to the next level. And obviously some people are going to make way more money than others. That's just simply because the grind and the hustle that they have, and putting out way more ads, and they're going to make way more just like buying and selling from their apartment or wherever they live. It's great, but you can't scale it to like a $50,000 or $100,000 per month kind of thing. It just doesn't exist. And then other people will tell you otherwise, but that's just my opinion. I told you guys I'd be totally honest with you guys, but those are the really two only options. It's hard to get into a business where there's not too many ways you can scale it, and you want to potentially sometimes think about, is it the best thing to get into if I have to be in it for such a long time to really scale it? For me, phone flipping is such a great thing for people to come in and, to be honest, just get out after a couple months, because it's kind of like a gateway thing, right? You're in it, you make a couple $100, pretty easy if you know how to avoid certain things, and you get out on your way and you've made your money to invest in something else. That's how I see the phone flipping industry growing in the future, especially with people like me promoting it, but that's pretty much it. So for the few of you that are thinking about scaling it, those are pretty much the only two ways. And the last one that I have for you guys, if you guys stuck around, this is the one that I am talking about. This is point number 4. And I'm not calling out anybody, and I hate doing that and starting drama or anything like that. But there's a lot of kind of this connotation that you should be held to this standard of, if you take this course, you're going to get to $0 to $10,000 within a month or two. It doesn't happen, people. Like obviously, I'm not one of those cases, and I hardly believe any of the cases that have been put out there are really true. Some might say otherwise, and if they're able to do that, then they should like literally stay in the phone flipping industry forever, or just even in the flipping industry forever, because to buy that kind of money, or to make 10,000, one, that's not profit. So I just want you guys to know that to make 0 to 10K in like even 3 months, it's super hard to do that, because there's a lot of things you have to learn, and obviously it helps to take courses here and there to be able to kind of get to that point faster. But to get to that point, like I've been doing it for a year, and maybe I'm just getting to that point now, and well, I mean, it's been more than a year, about a year and like 6 or 7 months where I'm just getting to that point. Like it's hard to realize that there's anybody that is able to do that. So I don't want you guys to have the expectation that because you see these other course students getting to that point, one, it's not profit, and two, like it's hard to believe that because the amount of money you need to be able to do that, most people are not coming into this industry with $30,000 to be able to do. People don't recognize to be able to do that much in profit. Like you need like 5, 6, 7, 8 times that amount of money in that profit that you made to be able to kind of move that inventory. So nobody's coming into this industry, especially if they're taking a dinky little course, to be able to get to that $10,000 a month. They need to have like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to be able to do that. Nobody comes into this industry to do that. And if they had that kind of money, I can promise you they're not going to go into phone flipping, because that's not where they should be spending their time. They could invest in a lot better things than phone flipping. So I want to make this so you guys know exactly what's going on. Phone flipping industry is not everything. It's not something where you're going to make $0 to $10,000 a month. It's hard to be consistent, and there's only really 2 ways, or probably just a handful of ways you can really scale the business, but they're definitely possible ways. You just need the time and the energy to be able to get there. So I didn't want to make this video to kind of hurt anybody's brand or hurt my brand or get people thinking, hey, should I not be in the phone flipping industry? 100%, like you should get into it, but those are just a couple of things you guys should think about when looking to potentially either just scale the business, or just things you should kind of recognize when you're in this industry, and certain people are giving you certain pieces of information that, in looking from the inside perspective, isn't really true. So with that said, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. I know you really enjoy me kind of talking about the phone flipping things. Yeah, I've been talking about other things, but my heart is still true to the phone flipping industry. I love talking about it, so these videos aren't gonna go anywhere. I'll probably do a phone flipping video maybe once or twice every week. But that's pretty much it, because there's not too much I can talk about it, because it doesn't really change too much, and I've pretty much talked about everything you need to know already with the other 250 videos I have on this channel. So with that said, hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up, and if you're not part of the family yet, hit that subscription button down below. It would mean the world to me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.